Hey guys, it's a following day since the last video you seen, and I was just doing some cleaning up of the cabinet. I took it outside and used my air hose and blew every single bit of dust out of it that I could get to come out until the darn wood started trying to flake on me. So I didn't want to get too much more aggressive, but I blew all the dust out of this thing I could get out. I think the only crevice I didn't get into as good as I would like is maybe up in there. That goes into where your marquee light is up in there, and I didn't want to take the marquee completely loose because it was pretty humid outside, and I didn't want to keep this cabinet outside in the humidity too long. But I blew the compressed air up in there, and any dust in there came back out on me basically. And I did clean in there good, and then I cleaned the rest of the cabinet. Opened the coin door in the front, took the control panel off, and blew it from that side, and blew dust out the back here. And this is about as clean as it will come without wiping it down with like I could get some wet cloths or towel. This is a very long cord, which is great, but there was a place where there was a skimp place on the insulation, and I just taped it up. I think it had some tape on it. I put a little bit more on there just for the sake of having it be safe. I plugged it up, but that's the only skimp place on the cord. And like I say, it's pretty long. Might be as long as this replacement cord I've got here, which is about an 8-footer. But I got lucky, and I had a box full of computer power cords. And you know, these are just standard AC power cords with a ground. And but most AC power cords with a ground for monitors and computers, they're usually only 5 or 6 feet long. And usually it's not a very heavy gauge wire. Well, see if this is a pretty high quality cord here. I don't even know if I'm upside down there. Let's see, I am. Let's see, rated for 50 degrees Celsius, 3 times 15 AWG. So that's the thickness of the wire there. 15 AWG, that's the gauge. And then it says it's rated for 300 volts. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm probably not getting in frame. But yeah, 300 volts. 3 conductors times 15 AWG. Does that say 16? No. Oh, that is 16. I can't see it with my naked eye, but through the camera I can actually see it. Ready for 50 degrees Celsius. I think that's what that says. Or does it say 60? I think it is 60. Anyway, it's a good wire to be. This is the isolation transformer that was originally with that exact monitor when it was in the main cabinet before I stripped it out. And I failed to label the primary and secondary wires. And I'm hoping these are the primary, you know, coming from your line voltage coming out of your wall. And this is the secondary. That's what I'm thinking. And that's just, I mean, there's no labeling on here. Usually you have like taps and you can solder to them. Well, these were, you know, wires coming out that were built in. Usually your primary, I believe, generally comes out of the bottom of the transformer, and your secondaries come out of the top. Well, this is a 1-to-1, so there's no other wires on the other side. It's just supposed to take in, you know, 115 or 120 volts AC and put it back out, but it'll be isolated when you get it out the other side. And I'm not 100% sure if you can run these backwards. Like, I don't know if you could take the secondary and run 120 volts from your house in it and it would come out isolated on the other side, or if you're specifically supposed to use a set of these as the primary winding. It's a 1-to-1 turns ratio on the inside of the transformer. So you got the same amount of turns on the primary as you do on the secondary. There is a very slight difference when you ohm these out. You ohm these pairs out, and I think it seems like it comes out to, like, let's say 2.3 ohms, and these come out to about 2.5 or 6 ohms. I'll have to measure them again. But if you guys have ever watched Arcade Buffet's channel, he does tons of monitor work. And I contacted him about this and gave him pictures. And he told me, without it really being labeled that much, he said he did see this little line here. The numbers don't mean that much to me anyway, and I don't think to him, but he said he seen that little line, and he said that to him denotes that this probably is the secondary, the 2 red wires. And that's the way I believe it is, because online I've seen other transformers, and almost always your primary is black wires. And if they're secondaries, at least one set of them, which there's always secondaries, but even if there's multiple secondaries, one set will be red. And so I think this set of wires here is the secondary. But he told me to go ahead and stick some voltage on like these two and see what I'm getting off these two. use my meter and then reverse it. And, you know, he said, don't be alarmed if you're getting like 230 to 250 volts because you don't have a load on it. He just wants to see what the voltages are coming out, and he's going to give me a recommendation after that. But I don't think I want to blow anything up, but, you know, we want to make sure that monitor is isolated because it's just like a K7000, and it doesn't have any kind of isolation on the chassis. And you definitely don't want to hook that monitor up to just wall voltage without an isolation transformer. So I think I'm going to leave this in here for the original board because the original Donkey Kong board needs new capacitors, and so I want to do that work on there before I try to put that board back in here and test it again. And we've took the little Nintendo converter board. There was a board that converts the Donkey Kongs and other Nintendo boards to work with a JAMMA harness, which is what this is. This has been put in, you know, somebody did a conversion to this cabinet, and so I think it's wired properly. They have that little spool of wire there isolated because that's for player 2, and there's only one button and one joystick for player 1 on this cabinet, so they just put those wires up there and tied them off. All those are for player 2, but we're just going to see if we can get this set up with the isolation transformer, and then we're going to see if we can get the 60-in-1 board put in there and mounted somewhere. And I haven't decided where I'm going to mount it. It may be right up here beside the chassis, or it might be on this piece of wood right here, you know, wherever's convenient without stretching the wires too much.